Okay. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. 5 o'clock, and we'll begin our Committee of Adjustment meeting for the month of September. Everyone's information will generally deal with each application according to the order of the agenda. Extra copies are available at the back. Anyone present who wishes to speak in support or against an application, as well as anyone with questions or concerns, will have an opportunity to speak. The committee will make their decision following each application. If there is anyone present who is not an applicant or an agent but is interested in the decision of the committee, you may file your interest with our Secretary-Treasurer. Please list the file number, your full name and mailing address. Copies of the decisions are automatically sent to the applicant and agent within 15 days of the meeting. Only the applicant, the minister, a specified person, or any public body may appeal decisions in respect to applications for consent or minor variances to the Ontario Land Tribunal. The decisions are final if there are no appeals 20 days after the committee's decision. May I remind everyone that we're being recorded and live streamed, and to mute your devices, as well as if you wish to speak to an application, please make your way to the podium, ensure the mic is on, state your name, first and last name for the record, and you will have 5 minutes. First order of business is to determine if any of our members have any disclosures of pecuniary interest. When considering any of the applications that we are dealing with today, are there any disclosures of interest? Councillor Van Passen.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have a deemed conflict on item number 4.13. It's BNPL 2025-235.
Okay, thank you. That's noted. Anybody else? Anybody else? Okay. Have all the members received the minutes of the previous meeting? Are there any errors or omissions? If not, I have a resolution before me, and I need a mover and a seconder. Phil? Seconded by Councillor Van Passen. All those in favor? That's carried. Our first application is ANPL 2025-070, and the planner can give the report, please.
Thank you. Through the chair, an application has been received to seek relief of 9.84% from the maximum permitted lot coverage of 15% to permit a garage addition to an existing cottage with a total lot coverage of 24.84%, 4.39% of the maximum permitted lot coverage for accessory buildings of 10% to allow a total lot coverage of 14.39% for an accessory building boathouse. 3.2 meters in maximum height for a boathouse to allow a total height of 8.2 meters. 74.1 square meters of usable floor area to allow a total usable floor area of 130.1 square meters, and 0.3 meters from the minimum required interior side yard of 1.2 meters to permit an interior side yard of 0.9 meters for a boathouse in the RR zone. The subject lands are located at 23 Teal Avenue, north of its intersection with Erie Boulevard. The area of the subject lands is approximately 698.7 square meters, with approximately 17.3 meters of frontage on the east side of Teal Avenue in the resort area of Long Point. The subject lands are occupied by a vacation home, a utility shed, and a boathouse. The boathouse is proposed to be replaced and a attached garage and mudroom addition to be constructed as part of the dwelling, with the existing shed to be removed. It is a professional opinion of planning staff that this proposal meets the 4 tests of a minor variance. Planning staff recommend that this application be approved. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions of the planner? Is there an agent or applicant? Dave, anything to add?
No, I have nothing to add other than I support the recommendation.
Thank you. Dave has nothing to add, and other comments in support. Is there anyone present that wishes to speak to this application? Did the committee have any questions of the applicant? Councillor Van Passen.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to move the recommendation before Mr. McPherson changes his mind.
Very good. He deserves that. Linda, seconder? Okay. File number AMPL 2025070, in accordance with Section 45(1) of the Planning Act, the requested relief is considered to be appropriate for the proposed development, minor in nature, maintains the general intent of the official plan and the zoning bylaw. No public input was received and therefore has not been considered as part of this application. All those in favor? And that's carried. Is that it, Dave? See you next month. Okay, good. Next up was the file number BMPL 2024342 in Shafro Farms Limited, and the planner can give the report, please.
Thank you. Through the chair, an application has been received to sever a parcel having a frontage of 43.27 meters, a varied width of 47.23 meters to 43.12 meters, a depth of 45.67 meters, and having an area of 2,044.5 square meters, and to retain a parcel having an area of 56.3 hectares as a severance of a dwelling made surplus through farm amalgamation. The consent application is being reviewed concurrently with a zoning amendment for the retained lands to remove a single detached dwelling as a permitted use in the agricultural zone. The subject lands are located on the west side of Norfolk County Highway 24, north of its intersection with Culmore Lane. The subject property is approximately 56.5 hectares with approximately 181 meters of split frontage onto Norfolk County Highway 24 East. The property is occupied by a single detached dwelling and a detached garage that are intended to be severed, and a barn that is intended to be retained. This application was previously deferred at the January Committee of Adjustment meeting this year, but the application was previously deferred at the January Committee of Adjustment meeting that approved the severance application BMPL 2024-343, previously severed another parcel as a dwelling surplus to farming needs from the subject property. The subject application now includes additional properties as part of a separate farm consolidation. It is the professional opinion of planning staff that this proposal meets the requirements of the Planning Act, the Provincial Planning Statement 2024, conforms with the Norfolk County Official Plan, and meets the intent and purpose of the Norfolk County zoning bylaw. The proposal is recommended for approval, subject to conditions. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions of the planner? Is there an agent or applicant? Anything to add, sir? The agent indicates nothing to add. Is there anyone present that wishes to speak to this application? Any questions of the agent? Hearing none, we have a recommendation for approval. Phil? And a seconder, Lisa? File number BNPL 2024342. The application is consistent with the provincial policy statement, conforms with the policies of the Norfolk County Official Plan regarding consent to sever policies in the agricultural designation, and meets the intent of the zoning bylaw. No public input was received and therefore has not been considered as part of this application. All those in favor? And that's carried. Thank you. Next up is ANPL 2025240.
Now, Mr. Chairman, I have a question on that
I'm
one.
sorry?
Again, since this was deferred, doesn't the Planning Act say it can only be voted on by people who were at the original meeting?
In January.
Yeah, so hope everybody's memory is good before they sign those papers.
Okay,
Yeah.
so the two members, keep passing it there, Joe and Peter. There we go. Everyone else was present in January? I think so. Okay. ANPL 2025240, and the planner can give the report, please.
Thank you. Through the chair, an application has been received requesting relief of 25.04 hectares from the minimum required lot area of 40 hectares to permit a lot area of 14.96 hectares as a condition of a consent application BNPL 2025-092. The subject lands are located on the south side of Concession 3 Townsend, east of its intersection with Old Highway 24. The area of the subject lands is approximately 16 hectares with approximately 138.1 meters of frontage onto Concession 3 Townsend. This application is a condition of severance application BNPL 2025-092, which conditionally approved the severance of a dwelling surplus to farming needs. The severed lot is approximately 9,935 square meters and includes the dwelling, 2 existing accessory buildings, and 2 accessory sheds. It's the professional opinion of planning staff that this proposal meets the 4 tests of a minor variance. Planning staff recommend that this application be approved. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any questions of the planner? Is there an agent or applicant present? No? Okay. Is there anyone present that wishes to speak to this application? No? I have a recommendation for approval. Can I get a mover and a seconder? Peter and Linda. File number ANPL 2025-240. In accordance with Section 45(1) of the Planning Act, the requested relief is considered to be appropriate for the proposed development, minor in nature, maintains the general intent of the official plan and the zoning bylaw, and no public input was received, and therefore has not been considered as part of the application. All those in favor? And that's carried. File number ANPL 2025-006, in the name of Darren Nill, and the planner can give the report, please.
Thank you. Through the chair, an application has been received to construct a single detached dwelling fronting onto Nelson Street, seeking relief of 1.21 meters from the minimum required front yard setback of 6 meters to permit a front yard setback of 4.79 meters. Relief of 0.97 meters from the minimum required exterior side yard of 6 meters to permit an exterior side yard setback of 5.03 meters, and relief of 0.77 meters from the minimum required parking space minimum required parking space length of 5.8 meters to permit 1 required parking space to be 5.03 meters in length. It is the professional opinion of staff that the proposal conforms to the official plan, meets the intent of the zoning bylaw, is appropriate for the development of the site, and is minor in nature, and as such, this proposal is recommended for approval.
Okay, thank you. Is there any questions of the planning staff? Is there an agent or applicant present? Mary? Okay, thanks, Mary. Any questions of Mary? No? Is there anyone present that wishes to speak to this application? No? We have a recommendation for approval. Mover, seconder, Tim? Seconder, Adam? ANPL 2025-006. In accordance with Section 45(1) of the Planning Act, the requested relief is considered to be appropriate for the proposed development, minor in nature, maintains the general intent of the official plan, no public input was received, and therefore had not been considered as part of this application. All those in favor? And that's carried. File number BNPL 2025-250. And the planner can give the report, please.
Thank you. Through the chair, an application has been received to sever a parcel having a frontage of 79.6 meters, a depth of 85.1 meters, and an area of 0.68 hectares as a dwelling made surplus through farm amalgamation. The consent application is being reviewed concurrently with a zoning amendment for the retained lands to remove a single detached dwelling as a permitted use in the agricultural zone. The subject lands are located on the south side of 10th Concession Road, west of its intersection with West Quarterline Road. The area of the subject lands is approximately 73.6 hectares with approximately 940.7 meters of frontage onto 10th Concession Road. The subject lands are occupied by a single detached dwelling, an accessory building, a greenhouse that is to be demolished, and an agricultural outbuilding. The dwelling, accessory building, and greenhouse are intended to be on the severed lands, with the agricultural outbuilding to be retained. It is the professional opinion of planning staff that this proposal meets the requirements of the Planning Act, the Provincial Planning Statement 2024, conforms with the Norfolk County official plan, and meets the intent and purpose of the zoning bylaw. This application is recommended for approval, subject to conditions. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions of the planning staff? Is there an agent or applicant present?
No questions. Thanks, planning staff.
And your name?
Scott Potter.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone present that wishes to speak to this application? We have a recommendation for approval. Joe? Seconded by Phil. File number BNPL 2025. All those in favor? Mixed up. Okay. BNPL 2025180. Planner can give the report, please.
Thank you. Through the chair, an application has been received to sever a parcel having a frontage of 528 meters, a depth of 675.2 meters, a varied depth of 675.2 to 676.6 meters, a width of 608.3 meters, and an area of 40.49 hectares. And to retain two parcels having an area of 40 hectares as well, and 40.42 hectares respectively. It is professional opinion of staff that the proposal is consistent with the PPS and the official plan in relation to consent to sever policies in the agricultural zone, and complies with the zoning bylaw in terms of lot areas for the 3 lots created. Staff recommend this application for approval, subject to conditions. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions? Is there an agent or applicant? Nathan? Nothing to add. Okay, good. Anyone here that wishes to speak to this application? Any questions of the applicant? I have a recommendation for approval. Lisa, Phil. File number BNPL 2025180. The application is consistent with the provincial policy statement 2024, conforms with the policies of Norfolk County official plan regarding consent to sever policies in the agricultural designation, meets the intent of the zoning bylaw. No public input was received and therefore has not been considered as part of this application. All those in favor? And that's carried. BNPL 2025257, Chinook Valley, and the planner can give the report, please.
Thank you. Through the chair, an application has been received to sever a parcel having a frontage of 38.1 meters, a depth of 68.58 meters, and an area of 0.26 hectares as the creation of a lot in the agricultural zone. By way of an update, there is an error in the report. The lot area quoted in the site description is 60.7 hectares rather than the 12 hectares as stated. There is no history of the subject lands having ever been formally severed, and it would not have merged on title if there was a formal severance in the past. The proposal is tantamount to the creation of a new lot in the agricultural zone and would not be consistent with the PPS, official plan, or zoning bylaw in terms of consent to sever in the agricultural designation policies. Unfortunately, staff must recommend this application for refusal. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Is there questions of the planning staff? Peter, microphone.
Isn't this just a case that the severance was granted under the rules of the day and meets the test of land titles, as there are 2 pins and there are 2 roll numbers? And are we not just being asked to clean up the title by reapproving?
Staff?
Through the chair, yeah, it would have been created under the rules of the day. Unfortunately, we see this all the time where they do merge. But the Planning Act or the provincial policy statement don't give any exceptions for us to look at it under anything other than the creation of a new lot. So we are required to recommend refusal on these ones.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions of the planning staff? Councillor Van Passen.
Yeah, I think it's along the same lines that, like, I doubt a little 3/4 acre lot was originally surveyed in 1796. So at some point, it's obviously been severed. It has its own PIN number, it's got its own roll number. Is it possible that when we switched to the electronic title system that it got overlooked? And I guess the question is, if that's the case, will it meet the test of a technical severance, which is allowed by the province, because there was a mistake some made, or somewhere along the line something screwed up? And is that a technical reason to allow it if that is the case?
Staff?
Through the chair, so the PPS outlines a definition for legal or technical severances, and it does have a clause in there that says it does not create a new separate lot. So when this application came in, I did ask the applicant if they had spoken with their lawyer about any other options, and they said their lawyer would follow up. I didn't hear from the lawyer, so I take that as they did look into other options, and this was the only one available.
Okay. Anybody? Councillor Van Passen.
Well, if that's the case, I'm assuming that their agent might be able to enlighten us a little bit more, and you know, if it's possible that we need to defer it to do some more research on it, we'll deal with that later on in the meeting there. So.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? Is there an agent? Nathan, step right up. No, you've been chomping at the bit.
Thank you, and through you, Mr. Chair. Nathan Colmea, I am the agent for the property owner and applicant Chinook Valley. So if we take a look at the provisions in our official plan, consent to sever land may be considered for the following purposes. So this is 7.2.3, agricultural lot creation and lot adjustment policies. And subsection 6, technical reasons, including minor boundary adjustments, corrections of deeds, quitclaims, easements, or rights-of-way, or other purposes that do not create an additional separate lot and which do not change the lot configuration such that a non-agricultural lot is created which would not be in conformities with the policies of this plan. So up until I'd say the early 90s, you had many different tools available to you to sever a lot and not have to go through the consent process. So we would, let's say, depending on the area, you have the 60s, the 70s, that's when subdivision and lot control came to play. And up into the 90s, you could subdivide in your will. Up until not too long ago, you had retirement lots. So historically, there have been many ways to do a severance and not have to go through this process. So that's really what's happened here is if it had been severed as a consent, we wouldn't be here right now because it would not have merged, right? Because we have the age-old adage, once a lot, always a lot. But the issue, is that the lot existed prior to those controls being in place, and so properties have merged. And merger is an operation of law, and that really is a legal reason because there's no other reason that the property is merged in the first place other than a legal reason. So that's what we're asking you for. We're asking you to approve the application. And if we also take a look at the characteristics of the property, it's not cultivated. It's not going to be cultivated. So this does comply with the intent of the official plan. And if we take a look at the PPS, well, if it complies with the official plan, it by default complies with the provincial policy statement because our official plan has to comply with the provincial policy statement. So respectfully, I disagree with staff. We're simply here to reverse an inadvertent merger that happened in 2005, and the as Member Hellier identified, it has its own realm, it has its own PIN, and but for us, the lawyers, identifying that it's merged, Norfolk County wouldn't have known that it's merged either, and neither would the province. So we're just simply asking to correct a legal error and continue on as everyone's recognized the lot to be. And subject to that, any questions you have, I'd be happy to answer them.
Questions? Councillor Van Passen.
Well, now, since we have the agent here, I will ask him directly. I'd like to see some little more background on how it accidentally merged in 2005, and if you could come back and explain that, and a little bit of more enlightenment on that once a lot, always a lot rule. And would you like it deferred this evening? Because otherwise, I can't see any way to, the staff recommendation is correct if their interpretation of the PPS is correct. So I'll give you one more chance at another meeting to explain why there's a gray area in that legislation and how we can call this a technical fix. Right?
Well, if I can, I'll answer the first part of your question now. It's pretty simple. Subject to a couple of exceptions, like when you're dealing with whole lots on a plan of subdivision. Like in a subdivision, you could own 10, 100, doesn't matter how many lots, same owner right in a row, they won't merge because Planning Act says they won't. And same thing, if I have a severed parcel and same ownership next door, those won't merge because the one property was the subject of a previous severance consent. But here, Chinook Valley, 2003, it already was the owner of the adjacent farm, and then 2005, this little lot was transferred to it, and that resulted in the merger. And that's what most people don't realize. I get so many calls, people, why'd the county merge my lots? The county, this, and I do defend you. I say, listen, it's not the county's fault. It's one of the few things, and I'm disappointed that the province hasn't dealt with it yet. It's just, in this case, not good old-fashioned common law. It's a rule that's existed for hundreds of years, and the second you have two properties side by side, same ownership, and when the exceptions don't apply, they merge. And that's what's happened here. But if it comes down to
Choices?
a choice, of course I'll take a deferral rather than an outright refusal.
Councillor Van Passen.
Well, and the planners probably know this better than I do, but there has been enough of a gray area in that once a lot concept that the province did make some adjustments to the PPS last September to try to clear it up a little bit. So maybe if we can get some of those details on it, maybe a written letter to the committee of the history of those parcels and how it happened. And but for the time being, I move that we defer this and let you come back with a little bit more detail.
Well, through you,
Councillor
Mr. Oops.
Oh, go ahead, Nathan.
Through you, Mr. Chair, if that's the will of this committee, I'd be happy to put a presentation together.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Very. We haven't got that far yet.
You put a motion out, did you not?
We still got a few more formalities
okay.
to go through, girls. He's going to remind me like he always does.
But if I may ask, through the chair, if I may be so bold as to canvass if there would be anyone who tonight would be willing to move an approval.
Yeah.
Not me. Anyway, I will carry on here with our formalities. Is there anyone present that wishes to speak to this application? Hearing none, we have a recommendation for refusal. We have a motion almost on the floor for deferral, correctly? By Councillor Van Passen, the seconder of Councillor Very. And I guess we'll just go ahead, Joe.
So the two parcels have separate roles, so finance already identifies it as two pieces, two tax bills, correct? So how has the county not already recognized it as two parcels?
Are you asking staff or
Staff.
Alicia?
Through the chair, so it's not really a county issue, I guess. We see this a lot where there's one property with multiple roll numbers on it. Not a lot, but on occasion. Nathan is correct. We wouldn't have known they were separate. They brought this forward and asked for it to be considered as a consent. So just because something has a separate PIN and a separate roll doesn't mean it's a separate lot.
Linda?
I just want to comment that I'm willing to accept Nathan's explanation of how it happened and to defer it and have him come back with a presentation telling us just what he already told us. I'm not sure that's going to benefit us any more than his explanation he's already given.
Okay. Anybody else? I'll call the question. All those in favor of a deferral? 1, 2, 3, 4. Opposed? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Tie?
Good, Mr. Chair, if we could try for the motion for approval.
Peter? Peter moves to approve. Linda seconds. All those in... Adam?
Back into debate, thank you. Staff, can you please, Alicia, can you please clarify again that the PPS says that we have to refuse this, does it not? Didn't you say that earlier?
Through the chair, it says staff have to recommend refusal, basically. So it says legal or technical reasons, and it doesn't include, it says does not create a new lot. It's up to the committee to make that decision. But this is what staff's recommendation is based on: no new lot creation in the agricultural designation, aside from surplus farm dwelling severances, farm lots, that type of thing.
We have a tie.
Okay, thank you.
We can't have a tie because I'm the tiebreaker and I hadn't voted, so. Where do we go from here? Councillor Van Passen. I didn't abstain. I abstained. You abstained? Okay. Okay. So that's a tie. Okay, so now we're back to Peter's motion of approval. I'll call the question. All those in favor of approval? 1, 2, 3, 4. Against? 1, 2.
Take that.
All those in favor of approval? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Opposed? That's carried to approve.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I think there's enough noted in the minutes that it logically makes sense. It's been one of my pet peeves for years with MPAC. When you have two properties that have merged, why don't they put them on one roll number and only have one tax bill? And I've gone through this personally, and it cost me a lot of money to fix somebody else's mistake before too, so.
That's today's rant. Okay. Back to business here. ANPL 2025-227. The planner can give the report, please.
Thank you. Through the chair, an application has been received to permit the construction of an accessory building requiring a relief of 2.2 meters from the maximum permitted height of 5 meters for a total maximum height of 7.2 meters and 90.7 square meters from the maximum permitted usable floor area of 55 square meters to permit a usable floor area of 145.7 square meters, including the proposed accessory building and existing shed. The subject lands are generally flat and contain a single detached dwelling and an accessory building, as well as a detached garage that is slated to be demolished. The property has approximately 22 meters of frontage on the north side of College Street West in the urban area of Waterford, and an area of approximately 0.91 hectares. It is the professional opinion of the planning staff that this proposal meets the 4 tests for a minor variance and is recommended for approval. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions? Is there an agent or applicant? Yes, and you are? Did you get that? Okay. Anything to add? Nothing to add. Is there anyone present that wishes to speak to this application? Any questions of the agent? Okay, we have a motion to, or a recommendation for approval. Phil? Seconder, Adam? ANPL 2025-227, in accordance with Section 45(1) of the Planning Act, the requested relief is considered to be appropriate in the proposed development, minor in nature, maintains the general intent of the official plan, the zoning bylaw, no public input was received, and therefore is not being considered as part of this application. All those in favor? And that's carried. Next up, ANPL 2025-191, name of Dustin Ha. Planner can give the report, please.
Thank you. Through the chair, an application has been received to construct a boathouse in the hazard land zone. The boat slip is located on the north side of the waterway, on the private section of Boathouse Lane at the northern end of 4th Ave. It is the professional opinion of staff that the proposal meets the intent of the official plan and zoning bylaws and would be desirable for the appropriate development of the site and is minor in nature. Therefore, staff recommend this application for approval.
Thank you. Any questions? Agent or applicant? Yes, sir? Sorry? Okay. Okay, thank you. Is there anyone present that wishes to speak to this application? Any questions to the applicant? File number ANPL 2025-191. We have recommendation to approve. Lisa. Seconder, Tim. In accordance with Section 45(1) of the Planning Act, the requested relief is considered to be appropriate for the proposed development, minor in nature, maintains the general intent of the official plan and the zoning bylaw, and no public input was received, and therefore is not being considered as part of this application. All in favor? That's carried. File number ANPL 2025-189. The planner can give the report, please.
Thank you. Through the chair, an application has been received to construct an addition to a vacation home requiring relief of 18% from the maximum permitted lot coverage of 15%, to permit a total lot coverage of 33%, and relief of 2.69 meters from the minimum required front yard setback of 6 meters to permit a front yard setback of 2.94 meters. It is the professional opinion of staff that the proposal meets the intent of both the official plan and zoning bylaw and is desirable for the appropriate development of the site and is minor in nature. Staff recommend this application for approval.
Thank you. Questions? Is there an agent or applicant? Yes, sir? Anything to add? Okay. Is there anyone present that wishes to speak to this application? Hearing none, we have a recommendation for approval. Linda? Seconder? Lisa? File number ANPL 2025-189. In accordance with Section 45(1) of the Planning Act, the requested relief is considered to be appropriate for the proposed development, minor in nature, maintains the general intent of the official plan, the zoning bylaw, and no public input was received, and therefore has not been considered as part of this application. All in favor? That's carried. ANPL 2025-076, and the planner can give the report, please.
Thank you. Through the chair, an application has been received to seek relief of 18% for lot coverage, where 15% permitted for a total lot coverage of 33%, and relief of 1.74 meters for a rear yard setback where 9 meters is required, for a total rear yard setback of 7.26 meters for a vacation home in the resort residential zone. The site is generally flat. The subject lands have approximately 18 meters of frontage on Arnold Street in the resort area of Turkey Point and an area of 0.06 hectares. The site contains a single vacation home and detached garage that are scheduled to be demolished. The surrounding land uses are predominantly vacation homes. It is the professional opinion of the planning staff that this application meets the 4 tests for a minor variance and therefore should be approved. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions? Is there an agent or applicant? Okay, applicant is here. Anything to add? Sorry? Nothing to add, okay. Is there anyone present that wishes to speak to this application? Any questions of the committee? We have a recommendation for approval. Peter? Linda? File number ANPL 2025-076, in accordance with Section 45(1) of the Planning Act, requested relief is considered to be appropriate for the proposed development, minor nature, maintains the general intent of the official plan and the zoning bylaw, and no public input was received and therefore has not been considered as part of this application. All in favor? That's carried. File number BNPL 2025-198, and the planner can give the report, please.
Thank you. Through the chair, an application has been received to apply for a validation certificate under Section 57 of the Planning Act. The subject lands are located on the north side of Queensway East, west of its intersection with Northgate in the urban area Simcoe. The area of subject lands is approximately 1.07 hectares with approximately 80 meters of frontage onto Queensway East. The Planning Act authorizes municipal councils to delegate authority to committees of adjustment to grant consents under Section 53 and 54. Authority to issue certificates of validation is also included. The planning staff consider the subject application to be consistent with the authority granted by the Planning Act, policies of the PPS, and conform to the official plan as it relates to consent to sever policies. Planning staff support this application and recommend that it be approved. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions of the committee? Is there an agent or applicant present? Is there anyone present that wishes to speak to this application? We have a recommendation for approval. Phil and Peter. BNPL 2025-198, the application utilizes the authority granted by Section 57 of the Planning Act for the Committee of Adjustment to approve a certificate of validation to resolve a longstanding Planning Act concern raised by the Land Registry Office and to allow the owner to apply to have the property brought into the land title system from the Registry Office system. No public input was received and therefore is not being considered as part of this application. All those in favor? And that's carried. And I think that's the first one of those we've ever had across this committee. File number BNPL 2025-235, Sandy Shore Farms Limited. Planner can give the report, please.
Thank you. Through the chair, an application has been received to sever a parcel having a frontage of 56.19 meters, a width of 120.43 meters, a depth of 132.17 meters, and having a total area of 8,650 square meters, and retaining a parcel having an area of 4,351 square meters as a boundary adjustment. Lands to be added to the existing agricultural lands located immediately to the north and east with the roll number. Final lot size is 19.65 hectares or 48.56 acres. The subject lands are approximately 13,002 square meters, 3.22 acres. The lands front onto the north side of Lakeshore Road in the geographic township of Houghton. The site is generally flat and contains a single detached dwelling, a detached garage. The surrounding land uses are primarily used for agricultural purposes. The lands to be severed have an area of approximately 8,650 square meters, a frontage of 56 meters, and would encompass a barn eastern driveway that provides access to the wind turbine. The retained lands are proposed to have a lot area of approximately 4,351 square meters, or 1,075 acres. And it would encompass the single residential dwelling, garage, and existing western driveway. Both severed and retained lands would maintain frontage on Lakeshore Road. This boundary adjustment was previously approved by Norfolk County Committee of Adjustment in 2022, but the time for the conditions has lapsed. It is a professional opinion of the planning staff that this proposal is consistent with the PPS, conforms with the Norfolk County official plan, and meets the intent and purpose of the zoning bylaw, and is therefore recommended for approval. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions of the planning staff? Is there an agent or applicant present?
Mr. Chair, I'm present, but I have nothing.
Go ahead.
I'm just saying I'm present, but I have nothing to add.
Okay, thank you. Any questions of the agent? We have anybody present that wishes to speak to this application? No? We have a recommendation for approval. Lisa? Phil? Everyone's so eager today. For a change. File number BNPL 2025-235. The application is consistent with the provincial policy statement, conforms to the policies of the Norfolk County official plan, meets the intent of the zoning bylaw, and no public input was received and therefore has not been considered as part of the application. All in favor? And that's carried. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. We're getting down there. 2025-220. And the planner can, BNPL 2025-220, and the planner can give the report, please.
Thank you. Through the chair, an application has been received to sever a parcel having a frontage of 15.1 meters, a width of 15.1 meters, a depth of 27.0 meters, and a total area of 415.6 square meters in the resort area of resort residential zone, and retain a parcel having an area of 398.8 square meters as a result of a boundary adjustment. Lands to be added to the existing parcel located immediately to the southwest and will have frontage on Harold Street. The subject lands are located on the northeast side of Harold Street in the resort area of Turkey Point. The parcel of land to be severed and added to adjacent property, located at the rear of the parcel known as 1 Harold Street. The parcel will be added to the benefiting lands located at 55 Cedar Drive. The area to be severed is vacant. The remnant parcel has frontage on Harold Street and contains a vacation home and attached garage. The site is generally flat. Surrounding uses are predominantly seasonal vacation homes. It is the professional opinion of planning staff that this proposal is consistent with the PPS, conforms with the Norfolk County official plan, meets the intent and purpose of the zoning bylaw, and therefore it is recommended for approval. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions? Is there an agent or applicant? Yes, applicant? Okay, thank you. Anything to add? Okay. Any questions of the applicant? Is there anyone present that wishes to speak to this application? We have a recommendation for approval. Tim? Seconded by Phil. BNPL 2025-220, the application is consistent with the PPS, conforms with the policies of Norfolk County Official Plan regarding severance policies and the resort residential designation, and meets the intent of the zoning bylaw. No public input was received and therefore has not been considered as part of this application. All those in favor? That's carried. And lastly, but not leastly, BNPL 2025-230, and the planner can give the report, please.
Thank you. Through the chair, an application has been received for consent to sever a lot having a frontage and width of 50 meters, a depth of 50 meters, and a total area of 0.25 hectares as a dwelling surplus to the needs of agriculture, and to retain a lot having a lot area of 28.07 hectares. The consent application is being considered concurrently with a zoning bylaw amendment to remove a single detached dwelling as a use on the retained lands. The subject lands are located on the east side of East Quarter Line Road, south of its intersection with Middleton North Walsingham Town Line. The area of the subject lands is approximately 28.3 hectares, with approximately 939 meters of frontage onto East Quarter Line Road. The subject lands are occupied by a single detached dwelling, a detached garage, and a cold storage barn, with the dwelling and garage to be included on the severed property and the storage barn to be included on the retained. It's the professional opinion of planning staff that this proposal meets the requirements of the Planning Act, the Provincial Planning Statement 2024, conforms to the Norfolk County Official Plan, and meets the intent and purpose of the Norfolk County zoning bylaw. The proposal is recommended for approval, subject to conditions. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions? Is there an agent or applicant present? Anything to add? No, very good. Anyone present or online that wishes to speak to this application? Questions of the committee? We have a motion or recommendation for approval. Joe, Linda? File number BNPL 2025-230. The application is consistent with the Provincial Policy Statement 2024, conforms to the policies of the Norfolk County Official Plan regarding consent to sever policies in the agricultural designation, meets the intent of the zoning bylaw. No public input was received and therefore is not being considered as part of this application. All in favor? That's carried. Motion to adjourn. Tim, Linda. All in favor? That's sort of carried. No, it's not the record. Might be the record